What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the White Sea Deer channel. Thank you guys for joining me on this day, Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. I hope you guys are having a great morning. I know you're going to have an even better day. Today, I want to go over an article that's pretty interesting, and I also want to talk about video game preservation during this, but this article just came out yesterday. Actually, did it come out today? It says April 28th, but at 10:10 a.m. Wonder if this is over in Europe or something. But anyways, as always, first I want to give credit to our journalist that wrote this story, Chris Scullion. There he is, Chris Scullion, Scottish game journalist for 15 years, formerly an official Nintendo magazine UK and CVG. So yeah, this is over in Europe, probably the United Kingdom. That's why it's posted today at 10:10. So to all you British fans out there, good afternoon. But thank you guys for joining me. We're going to be talking about this article. Dreamcast's canceled Castlevania prototype has been shared online and it's playable. Castlevania Resurrection was around 25% complete when it was scrapped. Now, if you don't know what Castlevania is, it is a video game series that has been going on for a long time. I think the last game that they put out was mid-2010s, 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. The first game they put out was in the mid-80s, like 85, 86. So this game has been around for a long time. Castlevania is one of Konami's greatest titles that they have ever put out, one of the greatest game series that has brought them so much success. So Castlevania is a huge deal to the gaming world. It kind of pioneered the genre of horror. Even though it was more of a classical horror kind of setting, it wasn't necessarily like scary horror. You couldn't really do scary horror back in the 80s with the graphics. You could barely do it in the mid-2000s. But the Castlevania series is one that gamers hold true to their heart, whether or not they've played it, because it was such a pioneer in the industry. So, very, very cool article. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so the first spot here, a prototype for a canceled Castlevania game for the Dreamcast has been released online, allowing fans to play it for the first time. Castlevania Resurrection was announced at E3 1999 and was early build, was shown to press behind doors. Konami eventually scrapped the project, however, with the game said to have only been around 25% complete. So obviously, anytime a hyped game or a game that we all want gets canceled, that sucks. For those of you that were around back then, I'm sorry this happened. I've never heard of this prototype. I've never heard of this thing because obviously I was 2 years old in 99. So, you know, obviously I didn't watch it. But that sounds like just another scenario where fans are going to be very sad. So I'm glad this happened for you guys. So let's continue. Until recently, the only proof of the game existed was a handful of magazine reports and an IGN preview written in late 1999, but it was seemingly canceled a short time after this. Now, after 22 years, the E3 demo has finally been obtained by Combi Laurent, the owner of the Sega Dreamcast Info Preservation Games website, following a lengthy sale process on an online auction site, and converted to a ROM image that can be played on Dreamcast hardware and emulators. So let's go to this guy or gal's website here. Here it is, Sega Dreamcast Info Preservation Games. I'll link it down in the description below. This is the page that brings you straight to the Castlevania Resurrection ROM. This is where you can download the ROM if you have a Dreamcast emulator or if you somehow can use a Dreamcast for this. I'm not entirely sure how that works. Never owned a Sega Dreamcast. Is it Sega? Yeah, it is Sega. Alright, so this whole page here is a pretty massive page. I've read it. It's nerd food. I don't want to send you guys through it. It's talking about specs. It's talking about the music score. It's breaking down each and every room that this has. It's got some gameplay footage that we will be watching in a little bit. We'll watch some game footage together. It's got screenshots, all that good stuff. and the history behind the creation of this game. So continuing on, the prototype consists of 5 separate stages and lets players control Sonia Belmont, the first member of the Belmont family. If you guys don't know what the Belmont family is, they're a vampire hunter family. Whole premise of Castlevania is that there's vampires. I don't think all of the games take place in Count Dracula's castle, but definitely this one did. But yeah, the Belmont family is a family of vampire hunters, and you go around killing vampires. I mean, how classic and cool is that? Players can press the start button to bring up a debug menu, and that lets them move to a different area. Since it's a very early demo, there are also a number of prominent bugs. Sonia has a roll move that hasn't been properly implemented yet. There's an enemy lock system that doesn't work, and there are numerous other freezes and issues. So obviously, discretion if you guys do download this ROM. This was never meant to be released from the public, so expect snags, expect issues. Obviously, they're never going to be fixed, but if you can look past that, if you're a huge Castlevania fan, or if you're just a huge fan of gaming history and want to see this in full limelight, then go right ahead. You can power through it. It doesn't look like any of this is unplayable. It's likely, however, that this is the most complete version of the game fans will get to play for a long time, if ever. Probably ever. Castlevania Resurrection is the latest in a series of canceled projects that have re-emerged and been made available for download this year. And it goes over 3 examples. Obviously, the HD remaster of GoldenEye 007 that happened back in the day that was supposed to be released for 360. The Nintendo 64 prototype of Dinosaur Planet, which would later become Star Fox Adventures. And then that whole thing in March where more than 700 PS2 prototypes were made available, including unfinished and demo versions of games such as Shadow Colossus, Final Fantasy, Okami, Ratchet & Clank, God of War, and more. So you can see that this leak of Castlevania Resurrection is following that trend of people taking these IPs that are being locked down by these companies and just leaking them and saying, I don't care about the repercussions. I don't care if you come after me. We're doing this for video game preservation. We're doing this for historical reasons. We're getting to a point in gaming where we need to start thinking about preserving these codes, these IPs, these titles, because there is a lot of lost media out there when it comes to gaming, and it's sad, and that's not something I think any gamer would want to see. And also, it's just the fact that it's more games for us to play, and I think we can all get behind that. I do not have a Dreamcast emulator on my laptop right now. If I did, I would play some for you guys, but I think I can show you the gameplay. I'm probably not going to end up downloading this. I've never been massive Castlevania fan. Like I said, I've never really owned a PlayStation besides the PlayStation 2, and I've never really played any JRPG type games. As you guys saw in my episode of Nier Replicant, I mentioned that JRPGs have never really been my jam growing up. But yeah, if that's something y'all are interested in, if you want to play the old Castlevania that was supposed to be released in 1999, I will link that in the description below for you guys. I am also going to link this news article by Video Games Chronicles' Chris Scullion. I'll link that so you guys can go give it a read and give them a shout out. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that with you guys, talk about a little bit about video game preservation, and I think this is great. And as always, thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate all the support. Make sure to like and subscribe. Love y'all. Take it easy now.